extraordinary, deep capacity for emotional interpretation. Through his latest work titled Merry Go Round, this BTS member, known for his artistic uniqueness, once again proves that vocals are not merely an instrument for reciting lyrics, but a medium of catharsis. This song becomes highly special because it was born out of the reflective times he spent while fulfilling his mandatory military service, a phase where physical discipline intersected with a dense mental solitude. In Merry Go Round, Jimin does not just sing, he pours out all the layers of vulnerability that have rarely been shown under the glare of grand stage spotlights. The process of adapting from a global megastar into an active-duty soldier naturally leaves empty spaces that demand deep self-reflection. This vulnerability becomes the main foundation of the entire song structure, making every line feel like reading page after page of his secret diary. Jimin's signature vocal technique plays a crucial role in conveying the emotional weight present in the song. He is known for his wide vocal range, but in this work, he chooses to explore a more intimate and grounded vocal register. This approach gives the impression that he is whispering directly into the listener's ear, sharing the solitude he had kept tightly locked away behind his military uniform. Jimin's vocal color, which is soft yet possesses a subtle sharpness, is able to capture the essence of loneliness with profound accuracy. The softness of his voice provides an illusion of comfort, while the sharpness at the end of each note implies a restrained pain resulting from isolation from the outside world. This contradictory combination creates a rich soundscape, depicting how loneliness can feel so terrifying yet so familiar at the same time. A deep longing for the other BTS members and for the stage that raised him becomes the main axis of emotion in this song. During the group's hiatus, time seemed to move slower for Jimin, and he uses his vocal dynamics to depict this distortion of time. There are breathing spaces that he intentionally lets be clearly heard, as if giving room for the listener to also feel the tightness of the longing he carries alone. Deep analysis of the song, Merry Go Round, shows why Jimin's vocals are absolutely considered the soul that drives the entire narrative. Without the emotional soul-stirring he brings, this song might just be an ordinary, easily forgotten melancholic pop track. However, Jimin injects a raw, emotional honesty into every frequency of his voice, forcing listeners to immerse themselves in the vortex of life reflection he experienced. The metaphor of a merry-go-round is used as a symbol of life that keeps turning, sometimes bringing us back to the same point, but in a different psychological state. Jimin's vocals move in harmony with this metaphor, where he uses a subtle vibrato technique to mimic a constant and mesmerizing circular movement. This rotation reflects a repetitive military routine, yet within it a highly dynamic and transformative inner turmoil takes place. In expressing vulnerability, Jimin refuses to sound weak. Instead, he shows that admitting loneliness is a form of bravery. In several parts of the song, he intentionally lets his voice sound somewhat raspy and trembling, steering away from a vocal aesthetic that is too smooth or perfectly polished for the sake of maintaining emotional authenticity. This artistic choice proves his maturity as a soloist who values emotional honesty over mere technical perfection. The sense of longing conveyed by Jimin in Merry Go Round is also universal, transcending the military context and touching anyone who has ever felt lost. Through his melancholic vocal color, he successfully builds a strong bridge of empathy with his listeners all over the world. This success reaffirms that the power of Jimin's vocals lies in his ability to transform a specific personal experience into a collective reflection that touches the hearts of many. The absence of subheadings in this song's structure reflects how emotions flow without boundaries, exactly like Jimin's stream of consciousness when writing and recording it. The vocal dynamics he displays move organically, ranging from a low murmur full of resignation to a high falsetto that sounds like a suppressed cry of longing. This transition between emotions is executed flawlessly, demonstrating a high level of vocal control achieved through years of dedication. Through Merry Go Round, Jimin also reflects on the meaning of BTS's hiatus, not as the end of an era, but as a sacred period of pause for growth. As his voice creeps up to reach the high notes in the bridge, listeners can feel a glimmer of hope peeking through the loneliness. This contrast between despair and hope is beautifully managed by Jimin's vocals, adding an extraordinary dimension of depth to the song. Music critics note that Jimin's ability to convey a reflective message about a turning life is the highest achievement in his solo career so far. He no longer relies solely on visual charm or mesmerizing choreography, but purely on the power of his vocals to tell a story. In the silence of the military barracks, Jimin seems to have rediscovered the essence of his own voice, which now sounds richer, wiser, and far more mature. Every line in this song seems to stand as a silent witness to the long nights Jimin spent in silence, far from the roaring cheers of millions of fans. The sharpness of his vocals in several key phrases functions like a knife that cuts through the illusion of popularity, leaving behind the figure of Park Jimin as an ordinary human being who misses his home and close friends. This drastic reduction of ego is perfectly conveyed through his vocal color, which is fragile yet remains resilient. The song Merry Go Round ultimately becomes an emotional manifesto that confirms Jimin's position as one of the most expressive vocalists in his industry. The soul he breathes into this song does not come from techniques learned in a recording studio, but from real and high-pressure life experiences. His ability to turn military isolation into such a beautiful piece of vocal art is clear evidence of his creative genius. Through such an intimate vocal exploration, Jimin successfully guides listeners to ponder the meaning of their own life cycles. The loneliness he describes does not feel foreign, but instead transforms into a shared space of reflection where everyone is allowed to feel fragile. It is the success of Jimin's vocals in humanizing loneliness that makes Merry Go Round a highly monumental work for his spiritual journey. As the song approaches its end, Jimin's vocals gradually fade away, leaving an echo of softness that continues to resonate in the listener's mind, just like a merry-go-round slowly coming to a halt. This decrease in sound intensity at the closing provides a sense of peace after the emotional storm that rages throughout the song. This indicates that his military reflection has brought Jimin to a mature point of acceptance regarding the cycle of life. The reflective message about life that keeps turning is ultimately delivered not as a curse, but as an inevitability that must be faced with sincerity. Jimin's vocals become the perfect guide in this emotional journey, proving that even the most difficult times can give birth to beauty if faced with inner honesty. Merry Go Round will be long remembered as a moment where an idol tore down his walls and let the world see his purest soul. Overall, Jimin's vocal contribution to this song has transcended the boundaries of conventional entertainment and entered the realm of emotional therapy, both for himself and for his listeners. The flexibility of his voice in capturing the nuances of loneliness and longing is proof that he has evolved into a complete artist. His military period may have restricted his physical movement, but it precisely liberated his vocal depth and creativity to a level never achieved before. Jimin's commitment to pouring out his entire reflection without emotional censorship ensures that Merry Go Round enjoys a long life in the hearts of music lovers. The song stands as an eternal reminder that behind massive popularity, there is a human being who continues to struggle, yearn, and grow within the vortex of his destiny. Through sharp softness and honest vulnerability, Jimin's vocals have successfully immortalized one of the most transformative phases in his life into an audio masterpiece. In the end, Merry Go Round is not just a song about a military hiatus, but a celebration of the human soul's resilience conveyed through the magic of Jimin's vocals. As the wheel of life keeps turning to bring uncertainty, this song arrives as an anchor, reminding us that loneliness is part of the process of maturing. Jimin has pushed past the boundaries of his own vocal capabilities, giving true life to a reflection on existence that will continue to spin and inspire for a long time. Jimin's success in channeling these emotional dynamics also illustrates how physical limitations during his mandatory military service actually expanded his spiritual horizons. Far from the hustle and bustle of the fast-paced entertainment industry, he gained a rare breathing space to reevaluate his relationship with music, fans, and himself. It is this depth of contemplation that makes every breath and vocal vibration in Merry Go Round feel so weighted, as if each note carries a new burden of maturity found amidst the discipline of the barracks. As a conclusion to this reflective chapter, the song confirms that a hiatus is not a meaningless empty space, but a powerful incubation period for art. Through vocals that serve as the main spirit of the entire arrangement, Jimin successfully transforms a sense of alienation into a grand, yet humble symphony of hope. Merry Go Round ultimately stands tall as an artistic monument, proving that when ordinary words are no longer able to hold the longing, Jimin's vocals arrive to complete the story with an unforgettable beauty.